Hello, good morning, and welcome to ABS Sports. I hope you had a very lovely weekend, and most excitingly, it's some of the games that were being played during the course of the weekend. My name is Tilekwe Daniel, and you're onto ABS Sports today, this Tuesday morning. And in the studios, I have my brother, who is a very good sports analyst and a sports lover, a very great guy. Oramali, you're highly welcome to ABS Sports.
Thank you very much. Let's do sports once again.
Thank you very much. All right, before we comment, I want to appreciate the Anambra State FA chairman, in the person of General Iluanosi Chikelu, who has been working around the clock to bring Anambra football into a limelight and make sure that Anambra State comes into the map of football, because Anambra State have a lot of talents scattered all over the world. You cannot talk about football without mentioning Ndi Anambra. And we want to appreciate him because on Sunday, the 25th of June, the All-Stars game will be kicking off. And this is the maiden edition, the first time such thing is happening in Anambra State, where all stars will be coming together under one umbrella, to struggle for a cup. And this is what it takes to be a general. Yes. And Chikelu Iluanosi has been living up to expectation to make sure that Anambra State comes to the roadmap of football. You have some view concerning these All-Star games coming up?
Yeah, I'm also involved in the All-Star games coming up. Hopefully I'll be playing with All-Stars Oka. So it's a game that's designed to bring back the old hands in the game of football. People who had played the game in the past, who loved the game in the past, who featured one way or the other, even though not internationally. Yeah. Okay, but now they are retired, so to say. But now they are coming back to showcase that which they had, as talents coming up as young people. And now it's a game that's coming from the age of 40 years and above. If you're not up to 40 years, you're not playing in the tournament. So it's a wonderful one, and I also want to join your voice in hailing
the general
Chikelu Iluanosi for that vintage idea. It will continue, and it will also be like a bedrock to the further development of football in Anambra State. Kudos to the NFA chairman.
All right. Okay, let's start. Victor Osimhen propelled Super Eagles to Nations Cup qualification. This is the rave of the moment. This is the guy, the talk of town. This guy is everywhere in Europe. He is hot. My brother, we are blessed having Victor Osimhen as a Nigerian player. And this is what is happening today. This guy scored 2 goals for the Super Eagles in the last match we played against Sierra Leone. Do we start rating Victor Osimhen now, or does he need rating? Or you just talk about the holistic game, about what the Super Eagles played, how they fared during the course of the match against Sierra Leone?
I'd rather we focus on Victor Osimhen, because from history, Super Eagles, if they win a match and you begin to praise them,
the next
match you become disappointed. So
you're hard to be in your mind.
So Osimhen, for crying out loud, like you rightly put it together, we are blessed in this country to see another Yekini in the making, okay? Because Osimhen has proved, his own that he knows what he's doing and is consistent. And the analysis has it that 21 more goals and he will become the highest goal scorer for Nigeria.
All-time highest.
Yes, all-time goal highest scorer. Right now, he's 20 goals short of it, of meeting up Yekini's
37 goals.
37 goals in 63 matches or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Osimhen is about 27 goals now in about, I think, 30-something matches. So you see, he has a long way to go and a short time to beat that record.
To accomplish it.
Exactly. So I wish him well, and I believe that with Osimhen in that team, we will begin to see again the glory of the Super Eagles coming back. Because football is all about scoring goals. If you don't have the man who will convert all the dribbles, all the good play, all the match play, everything you have in the pitch, if you don't have the man who will convert it into goals. You know, in the time of Yekini, you will say he doesn't have skills. All he does is
he's a go poucher. He doesn't have time with you. Just concentrate.
He just loves the net.
Exactly.
So that's what we hope Osimhen will
continue to do
and fully step into those shoes and surpass it.
Okay. Ex-Super Eagles player Ifeanyi Udeze berated CAF for approving the Samuel Doe Stadium. Sierra Leone does not have a stadium. They had to move their match to Liberia, where the Super Eagles played their match. But me and you could see that pitch was a write-off.
Exactly.
It was nothing to write home, and that's what Ifeanyi Udeze has come out to say, that how on earth could CAF, assign such a match
to such a pitch?
I don't understand. Were they bribed, or were they tipsy, or was there something wrong where CAF was just, they had to close their eyes to give Super Eagles this kind of pitch to play game? You could see part of the field there going off. You could see even when we were watching the match, the ball bounced and it goes to somewhere else. You need double effort to control the game.
Control the ball.
Why are we still in this kind of mess in Africa? Because when we go to abroad, you watch their games, you see how they are field, the pitches, the pitch they use. You see how it looks like. But when we come back here, it becomes stories as usual.
I think one of the things I want to look at is, managerial flop, okay? And it's also very conversant with Africans. And in Africa, we just take everything for granted, We don't look at the nitty-gritty of issues before we undertake, do anything we want to do. And it shows off in the kind of performances that we put out in what we do, in governance, in every sphere of life. You see the way Africa keeps going backwards all the time. And then today, tomorrow, you see the Western world looking for aids to Africans as if we are still babies, as if we are still, being breastfed, and it's not supposed to be so. That comes to the nitty-gritty of planning, and also, like you said, use the word bribe. I may not want to call it bribe, because of the weight of that word, the weight of favor, that a big team like Super Eagles is playing, and, people want to have them around them to see, just like when Messi went to China to play, and in 24 minutes or thereabouts, the whole tickets are sold out.
Yeah.
So I think it's favor sometimes that brings those things to play. And Nigeria, a big team, Osimhen, a big player, some big players are coming from Europe, and then they want...
CAF should always, I know they have some technical aspect of them, committee that goes out to check all these things before a final approval is being given. But why would every now and then we find ourselves in such their situations?
When you don't plan to win, you plan to fail. It's a very simple thing. Africans don't take enough time to look at, like I said, the nitty-gritty. What we do is fire brigade approach. Maybe the committee that set out to do this thing had just only 2 days to go and check out a pitch, and they are running out of time. So the best thing they can lay hands on, okay, fine, let's play it here.
I will not totally agree, because otherwise, after the last qualifiers we played,
they had enough time.
So I don't think that should be the problem, because this thing is something that
they'll tell you logistics.
This thing has been assigned. This is not a one-man thing. This is an all-African games that we're talking about.
Then they'll tell you.
Now we still see things like this.
They'll tell you logistics to go and investigate these things. You need logistics. You need tickets, for them to come together and fly to those countries.
Putting their problems into the whole thing. When I talked about bribe, it's not the weight. It is the reality on ground. Because we cannot, after much, I know when they come to Nigeria to play, we go out to look for the best pitch.
That's right.
We do these things. When we go to play, they start giving us things like this. These things needs to stop. George Opongwe is excited watching Osimhen, and he also, he said, this guy reminds me of me when I was in active service. You know, Osimhen has really changed the face of football.
That's right.
As young as he's 20 years old, he's doing these marvelous jobs and you know, trying to change. 22 years, if I'm not mistaken, or 22 years, and he's changing in, you know, a lot of things, breaking records in the Serie A. The only man that has broken record in Serie A is George Opamwe, an African player, who has done that, winning the Ballon d'Or and all those stuff. So he saw him playing because this game was played in his country where he is the president of Liberia, and he was like, man, this guy has a lot. He has not, but this guy is not yet finished. He's
you know, he hasn't even started.
You know, this guy is coming out, you know, and he's so excited. So kudos to Osimhen.
Osimhen, that's right.
Jose Peseiro may be asked to take a pay cut as to remain Super Eagles coach. Jose Peseiro. Let's in a short time. Let's look how far this guy. Have we seen anything beautiful concerning Jose Peseiro, or we're just wasting our time?
You know, Igbo man will say, in assessing a coach, you know, especially a countryside coach, okay, an international coach who is coaching a country, you assess him by his predecessors, okay, those who have come before him. That's the only way you can rate a coach. And if you want to compare this man with
Generoy?
No. Come from where we started from.
Westerhoff, Bonfrejo, TG Slibret, Bora Molitanovic.
You are going to his likes.
No. TG Slibret did well, Nigeria 99, but he later left after they had problems with NFF. He did well. We talk about Bora Molitanovic. Bora did a very good job. Just that we lost against Denmark in is it France 98?
France 98, and he left from there.
And he left from there. And we had other people that we engaged then.
What I'm trying to point out is this, put it back to back. I have not seen any excitement coming from.
Is it about excitement, or we've not really seen what picture does this man? We've never seen any technicality.
That's the excitement I'm talking about.
In the game, it looks as if the players are just
playing what they know.
What they know.
There's no technicality to there's no cohesion.
We've not seen if this a 4-3-3 formation.
No.
Is this, or is it because maybe the pitches we play with is really blinding our eyes not to see
the formation?
The formations the man is playing.
But we have not seen also the result from the formations. If he has a formation, we have not seen the results. I mean, think about it. For the first time in history, I don't know if it's the first time now, but in recent time, under his care, we didn't go for Nations Cup. We didn't go for World Cup.
Under his Nations Cup, we're going for Nations Cup this one.
The previous one was under his care. He was a coach when we didn't go for the last Nations Cup now.
No, we went for the last, we lost to...
Okay. Yes,
you're talking about Olympics.
Olympics.
It's not him that he's not in charge of Olympics. And
but point I'm trying to make is this: he has been all his successes or match winnings have been individual efforts of the players. We need to see a coach that has a plan, a technical plan that the country can follow, even if it doesn't succeed in the first year or two. But let's have a work in progress.
Yes, people will now say, well, okay, they can see where this man is
going to. That we are building into something that will become more permanent.
Yes.
So let's not rush him. Let's not be in a hurry. But when we don't have a headway, when we are not looking forward towards anything, it looks like a blind man walking on the street and just with his walking stick. What will his walking stick do to him? You need a guide. So he's not being that guide that the Nigerian football desires. Not like we are short of good players. We have players who are playing internationally and playing in one of the biggest leagues in the world. So you have a lot of players to choose from. You're not bereft of that.
Now, if we were to choose a coach right now, as it stands, because NFF saying they might, bring a pay cut so that for him to remain. Don't you think that is going to be a very dangerous risk to take?
It's like somebody who is living in your house and everything in your house is going bad. And he said, okay, I'll come, I'll reduce your rent for you.
It's for you to stay. Why the house is
The house is sinking. Okay, I want you to continue to stay. I'll reduce your rent for you.
And that's what it looks like.
What are we saying?
Now, what kind of coach do Nigeria need? Are you part of people that are saying, let's go for indigenous coach?
We have tried it in the past also.
Or do we still believe that a blend of a foreign and an indigenous coach will help change the story? Now, looking at the Super Eagles you saw on Sunday, what do you think is the problem? What do you think actually that we are not getting right, or what we need to change to become the giant or the Super Eagles that we say we are?
Team pattern.
Team pattern.
We must build a team pattern that will be indigenous to us. Looking at first the style of individual football we play, bringing all that in together and creating a team pattern that you know that if I have the ball on the left, even if I don't have to look, I know that because I have the ball on the left, there's a man on the right that is doing a run for me. And I can flip that ball to where I think I've been taught that he's supposed to be. And he is going to be there. A team pattern. That the man is juggling with the ball in the midfield. That the two wingers are... Initially, we had a pattern. We played for the wings. We played for the wings. We won from the wings.
Dutch pattern.
We won from the wings. When the ball comes to the middle, it goes to the wing and then comes back. And then when you have the Adepoju them.
Well, yeah, Adepoju, even you have Finidi George and Tijani Babangida them and all those players that played from the wings.
From the wings. And then they will bring the ball into the middle. And then you see a Yekini that will balloon the ball into the net. Okay? You had all that options. That's why they got in the Flying Eagles, you know, because we're flying on the Super Eagles, and we're flying with the wings.
Yeah.
And then the world will tell you that if you can clip their wings,
yeah,
you have Nigeria in the. But today we don't have such a pattern. We can't even say this is the style that we play. Until we come back to that. Football has gone digital. That you can build, you can on the board draw what the match will be like, and everybody understand it, and like that you prepare and make the team win. So we don't have a team pattern. Until we get to that point, we'll still be, going back and forth, try and error. We try this today, it don't work. We'll come the next match, we'll try something else. The next match, do individual. Then only individual efforts make us win, and it cannot continue. When you do individual effort like that, people understand it, and once they come to a match, they'll just write down the individual that you have. And then you become out of play. Okay,
we're still talking sports on ABS Sports today on ABS Television. And Ramali is still here, the sports analyst, with me in the studios. Now, do we continue with Jose Peseiro, or we need a fresh, young, vibrant coach that would come in and understand the language and understand that Nigeria is a country, in fact, you will create with Brazil, that every nooks and cranny of Nigeria, there are talents everywhere looking for who to harness them.
Exactly.
So do we need to continue with this guy, or do we say goodbye to him?
If he would continue in his way, then we don't need him.
He's 60-something.
So he's not about to change.
So if he's a woman, he's in menopause already.
He's not about to change. He cannot begin to learn Akebe.
Nanka.
In Nka at this time. So what we need, we all know in Nigeria what we need. Just like in governance, just like in politics, you know what Nigeria needs.
Yes.
So also in sports, in football, we know what we need. Like you said, come to my backyard in Oka here. There's a pitch there. You can find talent that will do with the ball what will mesmerize the English coach.
Yeah.
So what do we need? Like Westerhoff. Discover these boys from the grassroots. Train them professionally. Expose them to the world. And bring them back to do the job.
But I'm talking about this Jose Peseiro now. Do we still need him, or do we need to say goodbye? Because this act of may receive pay cut to stay. Do you still want him to stay?
No,
Or
that
do we
that
need
language,
to-
that language alone, pay cut to stay. I have explained it to you. How will it work? Then which there's something behind the scene that we don't understand. Somebody's not doing well. It's okay. You know what you do? I want you to stay. Keep not doing well. But you have to reduce the money that we are paying to continue to do not well. Is that what we want? That's not what we're looking for. If we need somebody who will take more money and give us results, fine, let's get him on board. Let's get him to do it. What we want is results. What we want is a pattern, a style of play for Nigerian team.
Which we were all known for all the while, that Nigeria has a pattern. Whenever you want to play football with Nigeria, you always sweat it out because, I mean, most of the time a coach will understand. If Osimhen can operate from the flank, he can operate from the middle. You know, a coach that can think fast and bring a change immediately in a game. I think that's what Nigeria needs.
That's what
now.
we need. Because we have all the talents
We have all the talent.
that you can put in this your pattern, that you can work with you on this your pattern. All you need to do is to find them where they are, and they're everywhere in the world.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere in the country.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And we were shocked that people like Gift Urban, Victor Boniface, were all dropped. He didn't bring them. And he says he had only a few options of 19 players, and meanwhile we have 23 players. Well, that's a story for another day. All right.
Sorry, before you get out of his point, what does he do between one match and the other? What does he do? What's his job?
I guess he should know. I don't know if he has an analyst, people who goes about to at least view your opponent, come back home
I don't know.
and prepare.
I don't know. How can we, just because we beat Sierra Leone, we are excited? Sierra Leone, was it part of our excitement in the past?
No.
Was it? Was it?
Maybe the excitement is that we have qualified and we are topping the group. Not because we are excited that we almost lost the game. We almost lost the game. It was just by divine providence that we were able to, Ian Acho was able to score the last goal, and that was it. We lost people whom we are 2 goals down, who spy goals, and they equalized. Then we need a change.
We need a change, big one.
Yes, very
an overhauling
drastic
change, just like what
Yes.
Tinubu did with the security.
Yes.
Just clear everybody. Boom.
We need a change.
Let's get new hands on board.
All right, new Celtic boss looking to snatch Ndidi from Leicester City. It will be interesting to know that Rogers has been named the new Celtic boss, and that is he's going back to Celtic for the second time as a coach. And remember that he was just the past sacked coach of Leicester City, and Leicester City, I must let you know that Leicester City gone to relegation. They've left the Premiership to the Championship, and it's a very painful one.
Very painful.
And very painful in the sense that we have 2 of our bright stars that are playing for Leicester City, the person of Wilfred Ndidi and Ekelechi Iheanacho. And Ndidi is a man after the heart of the new Celtic boss, his former coach, who is doing everything possible to lure Ndidi over to Celtic. That's in the Scotland Premiership. Well, we wish Ndidi well, just that Ndidi is trying to pick up his form. Even in the last match, you could see that he's picking up. But he's a guy you can trust at any point in time. He's still picking up. Well, we wish him well. If it finally goes through, then he will become a Celtic player. Villarreal is seeking 25 million euros from AC Milan for Chukwueze. That's a very big transfer.
Very, very huge one.
25 million euros.
Very
So if you want to sign Chukwueze from Villarreal, then get your 13 billion naira ready and come and carry this young man. Man, what do you think about Chukwueze? Irrespective, in the match against Sierra Leone, we didn't see him.
I want to say this in a whisper. I think he's even worth more than Nigeria. I said it in a whisper. Did you hear me?
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay. So it's wonderful, you know, just a footballer to get a footballer services in your club. The host club is asking for 13 billion
Naira.
How many 13 billion nairas do we have lying waste in
In
Nigeria?
Nigeria. That has not
It's
been
a shame.
harnessed.
It's a shame.
Well, we pray that there's
shame.
going to be a very big change. All right, last of our story this week is the Spanish international Joselu has returned to Real Madrid on loan from Espanyol. My interest in Espanyol has been relegated as well from the Spanish La Liga to their B aspect of their league. And Joselu he's been in on loan before to Real Madrid, and now he's back again because Real Madrid striker Benzema has retired has left Real Madrid, and still signed for Al Ittihad of Saudi Arabia. Has left to go and make sure he retired very well in Saudi Arabia. So you could see why. And Saudi Arabia is the latest sensation now.
Yes.
They are trying to sign a lot of players now. Kante is moving over to Saudi Arabia. Even Ndidi, they are struggling for his signature in Saudi Arabia. But we don't think we want him to go there now. There's too much time for him.
No, he's too young to go there.
He's too young to go to Saudi Arabia for now.
To end a career like that.
Yes,
No, it's
yes,
even though it might be, you know, a lot of, it might be a big wallet for him.
Yes,
You know,
but that's not what he needs.
That's not what he needs.
That's not what he needs
That's not what he needs now.
So we wish Ndidi well, and we know that if he goes to Celtic, that will help him improve more in his game, knowing fully well that the coach there understands him.
And you know, that's one thing about coaching also. You see, the coach sacked from Leicester City is going over to Celtic. And is thinking of where is my benefits from my last job.
Yes.
And he's thinking of bringing them into this new opportunity that he has.
Exactly.
You know, everybody wants to get things going for them. So you look for your best hands to put them with your best legs in your pitch.
Exactly. All right, I guess that's our stories for this week. You always know that every Tuesday we'll come to tell you some of the things that happen in the world of football. But I want to urge everybody, all the Anambra, to come out en masse and be in Oka Township Stadium on Sunday. That's the 25th of this month. Be there to watch the All-Stars. Remember, this is the maiden edition of this. It has never happened, and it's happening now under the solution, under General Chikelu Eluanosi, the former Super Eagles player. And this is changing the mindset, trying to catch them young, to get some people. When people see old people playing, it will enthusiasm the younger ones, spur them to say, oh, wow, if these people can
I still have hope on my side.
Then there is still hope. And it's going to help the youth to take them off from street and make them focus to know that there are talents inside each and every one of us.
And then also to find the 13 billions.
Yes, find the 13 billions.
13 billion.
All right, Oramali, I want to thank you for being part of this
thank you.
sports today.
Thank you very much.
Bye for now. My name is Tilekwe Medane. Bye.